Hey everyone, welcome back. So hopefully at this point you have completed your element 1. Well, I completed element 1 for you, birth and images, and you have done element 2, mother, father. You've told me what it is and given me examples from the 3 myths, and you included some images. Okay, and we're not going past element number 2 today. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is go back to this document, and we are going to read the Greek myth about Nyx and how Nyx created the world. So if you scroll all the way down to page 23, I think, so this is quite a ways down. We will get there. And, oh no, I lied. It's on page 20. Okay, Greek creation myth. So this is how the ancient Greeks thought the world came to be. And we're going to read this, and then we are going to open up this chart again, and we're going to see if we can explain how there was a birth element and a mother-father element in this myth. All right, so be thinking about that as I read, and feel free to read along if you like. In the beginning, there was an empty darkness. The only thing in this void was Nyx, a bird with black wings. With the wind, she laid a golden egg, and for ages she sat upon this egg. Finally, life began to stir in the egg, and out of it rose Eros, the god of love. One half of the shell rose into the air and became the sky, and the other became the earth. Eros named the sky Uranus, and the earth he named Gaia. Then Eros made them fall in love. So we have 4 characters at this point. We have Nyx, the original creature that existed before everything else. We have the egg that became 3 different people or creatures. Eros, the god of love, is one character. And then we have Uranus, who was the shell of the egg and became the sky. And then Gaia, who became the earth. And then Eros made Uranus, and Gaia fell in love. All right, did you catch any birth element in this one? I think what we have is right here. With the golden egg, she sat on it for ages, and then life began to stir in the egg, and out of it rose Eros. So we can go ahead and type that into the birth section. So Nyx, let's define this. The bird Nyx laid an egg, and from it came Eros, Uranus, and Gaia. Okay, and so that tells us the element of birth. Okay, let's see if we can see any mother-father. I'm guessing that we can because Eros and Uranus have now fallen in love. So Uranus and Gaia had many children together, and eventually they had grandchildren. Some of their children became afraid of the power of their children. Kronos, in an effort to protect himself, swallowed his children when they were still infants. When they were just little babies, he swallowed them. However, his wife Rhea hid their youngest child. She gave him a rock wrapped in swaddling clothes, so just a blanket, which he swallowed, thinking it was his son. All right, so now we have a mother and father. So it says Uranus and Gaia had many children together, and eventually they had grandchildren. With this one, I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it into my chart and call that kind of fact. I might make this a little bit smaller so it fits in there better. And change the font. Okay, that looks pretty good. So we've actually completed this section, the assignment, without reading the whole myth, but I think we should go ahead and continue reading it so that we know all of it, because there's going to be some other elements that we don't know about yet that are in the Greek myth. Okay, So once the child Zeus had reached manhood, and Zeus is the one that Rhea had saved from Kronos. So once he became an adult, his mother instructed him on how to trick his father to give up his brothers and sisters. Once this was accomplished, the children fought a mighty war against their father. After much fighting, the younger generation won. With Zeus as their leader, they began to furnish Gaia with life and Uranus with stars. Soon, Earth lacked two things, man and animals. And when they say man, they mean humans. Zeus summoned his son Prometheus, which means forethought, and Epithemius, which means afterthoughts. He told them to go to Earth and create men and animals and give each of them a gift. Prometheus set to work forming men in the image of gods, and Epithemius worked on the animals. As Epithemius worked, he gave each animal he created one of the gifts. After Epithemius had completed his work, Prometheus finally finished making men. However, when he went to see what gift to give man, Epithemius shamefacedly informed him that he had foolishly used all the gifts. So Epithemius was supposed to save something for the humans, but the humans didn't have anything because Epithemius had used everything up. So Prometheus is distressed. He's a little bit sad and decided he had to give man fire, even though gods were the only ones meant to have access to it. As the sun god rode out into the world the next morning, Prometheus took some of the fire and brought it back to man. He taught his creation how to take care of it and then left them. When Zeus discovered Prometheus' deed, he became furious. He ordered his son to be chained to a mountain and for a vulture to peck out his liver every day till eternity. And the liver is an organ in the stomach. Then he began to devise a punishment for mankind. Another of his sons created a woman of great beauty, Pandora. Each of the gods gave her a gift. Zeus's present was curiosity, and a box which he ordered her never to open. Then he presented her to Epithemius as a wife. So there's a lot of things that the gods say are off limits to people that are not allowed. So the first one was fire. So Prometheus was not supposed to give fire to the humans, but he did it anyway. And then this one, Pandora is given a box which she is told never to open, but we also know that Zeus has given her the present of curiosity. So it's almost like he's setting her up to be curious about this box. All right, so Pandora is married to Epithemius, and life with him was happy, except for her intense longing, her curiosity to open the box. She was convinced that because the gods and goddesses had showered so many glorious gifts upon her, that this one would also be beautiful and wonderful. One day when Epithemius was gone, she opened the box. Out of the box flew all of the horrors which plague the world today: pain, sickness, envy, greed. Upon hearing Pandora's screams, Epithemius rushed home and fastened the lid shut, but all of the evils had already escaped. Later that night, they heard a voice coming from the box saying, "Let me out, I am Hope." Pandora and Epithemius released her, and she flew out into the world to give hope to humankind. So there was one positive thing in this box, and that was hope. All right, and so that is the story from the ancient Greeks about how the world was created, how humans were created from Prometheus, how humans were given fire, and then also where some of the evil things in the world came from. That was from Pandora's box, but there was also hope in that. So the ancient Greeks and their creation story. So what you need to do is use this chart to fill out what you just read about. So use the video lessons to help you understand what myth you should be working on today. Don't forget to include an explanation answer box. So you're going to put a check mark. You can copy this check mark. or you can make your own. Paste it in there, paste it in there, and then remember to include an explanation in each box. And I already did that for you, but you can do your own, or you can copy what I wrote. All right, your job is to read the Japanese myth or listen to it and tell me if there's a birth element and or a mother-father element along with a short explanation of that in this box.